Episode 139 of the Interpretation Station is called to order. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new episode of the Interpretation Station with me, your host, Roland Pallaret, and my guest, a regular guest on today's show. We have Miss Zoe Chan. So you will be able to tell by the presence of Zoe here with us today that this is going to be an episode especially for the Interpretation Station's Chinese Mandarin-speaking interpreters, translators, linguists, whatever. So we have got it's going to be a very interesting episode that we've got lined up for you today. We're going to be featuring, admittedly not in person, the Chinese president, Mr. Xi Jinping. As I say, he couldn't make it on today's show. He's tied up with other matters. But anyway, we do have a recording of his to play. But before we start with that, Zoe, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Okay.
Oh yeah, is that the police after you?
I don't know. It's the siren. I don't know if you want to cut this part out. But
you're not in Taiwan, are you? No.
No, I'm not. I think that's gone.
Zoe's not in Taiwan. She's in Bonn, by the way.
I moved to Bonn, Germany. Yeah, about 2 months ago or so. Yeah. So.
And how is that going? What's the plan?
So I'm exploring the market here in Germany and in Europe. Doing quite a bit of translation at the moment because it's summer holiday, nobody's going to have any conferences. Yeah. And the weather is quite nice.
Work locally, or is it work? Is it clients you had before?
Both actually. Yeah. So I gained a few local clients. And I'm also working with clients in the States, in China. Yeah.
Now, if you're not familiar with Bonn, so Bonn's the home to quite a few international organizations. So in theory, there should be quite a bit of work going there. Just tell us which organizations, which of the main organizations based there.
I think quite a few of the agencies are actually Eurocentric, and I think the climate change, if I'm not wrong, the climate change.
Yeah, the UNFCCC. Yeah,
FCCC,
because I've worked at that building a couple of times. I was there a few years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. It's a very big building, right next to the Rhine River. Lovely location, actually. Lovely location.
Yeah.
And I think that is that's the main international organization in Bonn. I think there may be other things, but that's certainly
the rest are quite small and Eurocentric. Yeah.
But is that right?
Yeah,
okay.
UNFCCC is the main thing, and they held the climate change conference in June when I first arrived. Yeah.
Oh, is that right? They had.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think some of my colleagues were assigned to that meeting in June. Yeah, very good. Okay, so as I said, today what we're going to be focusing on in today's episode is a statement delivered by Xi Jinping. How's my pronunciation? Have I got it? Xi Jinping?
It's very, very close. Xi Jinping in Chinese.
But, okay, I'll just go with my pronunciation. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So we've decided to go with a statement from as I say, last year's general debate, because, if you want to get, it's a real sort of primer in giving you a country's main foreign policy positions. It's a chance, it's usually the presidents or prime ministers, heads of state and government, to basically tell us what the big issues of the day are and what the position of their countries are on these matters. So I think this will be a nice complement to what we've already got for you in the Chinese episodes. We've got Chinese episodes. You can go and look through the playlist. We have a total Chinese playlist featuring the commentaries on the UN Charter, Chinese position on human rights, exactly, on Ukraine, what their position is here. So as I say, because this episode, it's almost a year ago, it's from the 21st of September 2021, it has a very high probability that in the meantime, China's foreign policy priorities may well have changed since then in view of various minor incidents like certain special military operations, in view of certain visits by certain, might have a slightly different emphasis, but we'll see.
We'll see.
So we'll see.
Maybe you can do another episode.
Exactly. I just have a hunch. Just this hunch. As you can guess, because it was a year ago. Because in September, the whole COVID business was very much in full cry at this point. I think that's when I don't think. Oh, it was still Delta back then. Omicron hadn't yet appeared on the scene. Yeah, I got Delta. I got Delta back in November. So this is just a bit before that. But so there's quite a bit about COVID, and that's sort of the main thrust of the statement. So Zoe has done a recording of about the first 10 minutes of that statement. So we're going to, in sort of usual interpretation station style, she's going to be actually guiding you through what she did, saying, looking at solutions for vocabulary and so on the screen. She's putting up the original statement in the Chinese plus the English version that was given. So as she's going along, you'll notice that with the English version, little bits and pieces are sometimes added or removed by the speaker, by Xi, as he was going along. But the translation is the English is pretty faithful, I think, to the original, to what he said. And while she's giving you a commentary going through it, I will be chipping in myself with little tips and tricks, telling you what particular vocabulary perhaps to focus on, what particular words to have good synonyms and solutions for, and what acronyms to use. You know what the usual deal is on the interpretation station. You know what the style is, as ever. So we'll be leaving the links to the audio, to the transcripts in the description box below, so that you can practice it yourself. As usual, my advice to you is to try and record yourself interpreting Xi's statement, and then go and watch the episode, see what things you did right, and see what things me and Zoe, what alternative ideas we may have for you for ways you could maybe improve your delivery, your interpretation, what are the new words you can start to incorporate, and so on. Anyway, enough of me blethering on, as we say. I'm going to give the floor, as we say at the UN also, to Zoe. As I say, she will be steering us through this text. And so, Zoe, it is over to you.
Great, thank you, Roland. So here on the screen, I have 3 windows open. This one is the original statement delivered by Xi, and this one, the Word document, is the official translation, I guess probably from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, that was actually read out by the interpreter on that occasion. And here is the my recording of my interpretation of this speech. It's a bit different from the official translation, I have to say. I try to do a simultaneous interpretation, so I try to follow the word order. For the translation, they kind of switch the word order around to make it sound nicer, I say.
Yeah, that's typical, isn't it? I mean, so you have to bear that in mind when you're looking at the English version. This has been translated well ahead of time to make it sound as naturally English as possible. So it won't necessarily be following the syntax of the original Chinese. And obviously that's the challenge for Zoe when she's interpreting it, is to process that Chinese syntax and put it into nice English. I mean, that's always the challenge for us interpreters.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a good thing to bear in mind as we're going through it.
So my sentences are generally shorter than the English translation. And I did leave things out because I was trying to keep up. or I simplify things, generalize things, just basically all those coping strategies, which they obviously didn't really need to deploy in the English translation.
Yep, and you do a very good job of, you'll notice, I'll point that as we go along with some of the sentences that you'll notice Zoe chops up. That's a very key strategy, to be a key technique to be able to use properly when you have longer sentences, is to be able to chop them up to make things more manageable.
Yeah, exactly. So I think without further ado, let's just get into it. I'm just going to play my recording first. Mr. President, 2021 is a very special year for the Chinese people. Oh, nothing too special about this one. I want to point out that the translation use is remarkable, which I think is a great choice. Without the context, 特殊 just means special, so I just went for the kind of the default option here.
I mean, there's one tiny grammatical thing I'd perhaps pick out there, that I mean, because it's still 2021, so we'd probably say 2021 has been a truly special or remarkable one. Small point, I know.
Right. This year marks the centenary of the founding of the CPC. Do you think founding is necessary here? Because it's actually in the Chinese, but here they removed it. It just marks the centenary of the Communist Party of China. I added.
You added it, okay?
Because it's in the original. There's Chen Li there.
I think it makes it a little bit nicer, but I think you could also say it's the centenary. I don't think you do need to add it. I think you can just say it the way that the Chinese said it, without it, the centenary of the Communist Party. I think. No,
the Chinese actually has it. The Chinese has the founding.
Oh, it has it. Oh, I see. I see.
English,
yeah, okay.
The official translation removed it, and I just went with the Chinese.
Yeah. Right. Okay. I think you don't have to have it. I mean, perhaps it's slightly nicer if you do have it, but look, I realize that in Chinese, that when you're going into English, it's you know 2 or 3 sounds in Chinese are sort of the equivalent to about 10 words in English, aren't they? So I know you're immediately at a huge disadvantage. So I guess when you're going into the Chinese, you need to use every shortcut you can. The one thing I would say in this sentence is that you went directly for, you said the CPC.
Yeah, I was trying to save some time. Yeah.
Right. Now, you think is when I listened to it, when you said that, maybe it was just because it was early in the morning and I wasn't fully awake yet. And I was like, what's CPC? What's CPC? Without any context. And then, okay, yeah, it's the Communist Party of China. I think you would probably want to give the full name this first time, because on the one hand, just because some people might, people who aren't fully awake, they might think, what's CPC? Also, I think I get the impression that with the Chinese, like with the Russians, one of your main clients is the Chinese minion. To hear the Communist Party of China, it's an important sort of name, and especially my sort of fail-safe technique, like it is with these things, is to give the full name the first time, and then you can revert to acronyms after. Yeah, especially CPC in the context of the UN might not be the first thing that springs to mind. I mean, sure, look, there are some acronyms you can go to straight away, things like NATO, UN, the UN, obviously. CPC is one where you might want to give the full name first and then go to acronyms after.
Right. And I also want to point out one thing about the acronym. I didn't say CCP, even though CCP seems to be more common.
Is it CCP? Is it in English? Is it CC?
It's so there are 2 acronyms. So it's either CCP or CPC. But the Chinese official, as in the official media outlet, prefers CPC, not CCP. Yeah.
Okay, that's worth bearing in mind then. Because I've always known it as CPC. That's certainly in English.
It's kind of more official. Yeah.
Okay. Let's go on.
It is also the 50th anniversary of the restoration of China's lawful seat at the UN.
So I just cut it here.
China will hold grand celebration to commemorate this historic event.
So that's one sentence in the official translation.
I see it, and you've broken it up into two.
Yeah.
I noticed that. That's very wise. Just so again here on this thing of shortening things, the lawful seat of the now here it says in the English translation, the People's Republic of China. Does he give the full name of
In
the original?
Chinese, yes, he does. Yeah, it's
So
long.
again, kind of what I
Yeah.
said about the CPC.
Yeah.
With a country's constitutional name, particularly as it's the president of China speaking,
right.
general debate, you probably want to give at least the first time the full constitutional name, the People's Republic of China, and then again after that you can shorten it to China. But again, first time, you have to just think what the situation is. You have to judge each situation on its merits, and here I would certainly think general debate, president speaking, talking about his own country. You want to give it the full name.
Yeah.
We will continue to promote and deepen China's cooperation with the UN. China will make new and greater contribution to the lofty cause of the UN.
Yeah, I broke it up into two parts again.
You brought again, very good. Yeah. Yes, very sensible. Just a couple of do you have anything you want to say other than that?
No, I was waiting for your comment.
No, okay. I was just going to give it just a couple of synonyms for words, for advancing, like to further the noble cause.
Yeah.
Advance the noble cause. And I was gonna, you said the lofty cause of the UN. I hear people talk about lofty. I think noble is perhaps a bit better. I would stick to noble if you're. I hear they often talk about the lofty goals more, the lofty, certain lofty goals. It's good as a synonym, and noble's better, but no, it's not bad. It's not bad.
Mr. President, 1 year ago, global leaders attended UN 75 and made political commitment.
Yeah, this UN 75 is like my coping strategy, basically.
So they did. Did he? What? So in the Chinese, was it the full? Did he give the full?
It's inverted. The order is inverted. So the Chinese order is UN founding 75th anniversary serious summit. So that's the original word order. And
right.
I was just like guessing, okay, it's probably UN 75. So I just went.
That's a good one. I've never actually. I was going to say because I've never heard anyone actually put it like that. It sounds like it sounds like UFC. Your Ultimate Fight fans out there. They have UFC 12, UFC 57, UFC 100. I'm talking here about mixed MMA, the mixed martial arts. So that it's good. Well, I mean, the UN 75. As I said, I've not heard it expressed like that, but you could probably get away with it under the circumstances. I mean, attended the 75th session of the UN. I mean, yeah. Right. I realize that with the way the Chinese comes out, you've got to adapt. The high-level meetings, I noticed you said summit, right?
Yeah, the Chinese actually says summit.
I think that's
translation is high-level meeting.
High-level. I mean, summit is certainly quicker to say. So, because in some languages, they will say the high-level meetings, which is essentially a summit. And you said, okay, so here I'm seeing they issued a declaration, but in the Chinese, and it originally says a political statement.
Oh, what did I say? I said political.
Have we got to that bit yet? Or...
Yeah, I did. I need to go back a bit. Right.
And made political
I
commitment.
said political commitment. I kind of combined the
Oh, I see what you did. Okay.
the declaration
yeah.
and the commitment because it's pledging to do something. So I just said, made political commitment.
Okay, I get you. That's a good. I mean, I was going to say for pledge. I was actually going to say it's a good synonym for pledge is to commit. They're pretty interchangeable. They
Yeah.
committed to fighting COVID-19 in solidarity.
Yeah. It's quite interesting that so in the Chinese original, it's literally political declaration, but in the English translation, political is removed. So it's just
Right, just a
declaration.
declaration.
Yeah.
Right.
Pledging to work together to tackle the pandemic, face common challenges, uphold multilateralism, strengthen the role of the UN, and create a common future for this and coming generations.
So I think this part is quite close to the official translation. This list.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah. I was
Yeah.
going to just say, you said to let me see. You said to tackle COVID-19. I noticed that they say in solidarity. You said
I said work together to tackle.
work together. I mean,
Because
I've got
work
another
together-
alternatives
Right.
for that is like to join forces to tackle
Right.
COVID-19, to pull together. Often pull together when joint efforts are required. So it's good to have a couple of synonyms for that.
Yeah.
To face challenges together, address, meet. Often my go-to collocation for challenges will often be meet to meet these challenges. But again, what you said is fine. Face challenges together. It's all good. Yeah. Anything you want to add?
Not really. But I agree with you that we've got to have quite a few phrases in English to express to work together this concept because it appears twice. No, was it? Yeah, twice here. There's 携手, which is translated as in solidarity here. I translated that as to work together because it actually comes first before. So in solidarity means it's for 合作. So I translated it as to work together. And 携手, basically the same thing as 合作. Here it's together. I kind of turned it into an adjective. I said to face common challenges, we need to do this together. Yeah.
Yeah, it's important, I think, to get the connotation of the together. I think that's deliberate.
Yeah.
So yeah, you want a couple of alternatives to express that idea.
Over the past year, we've seen changes that we have not seen in a century, which have been compounded by the COVID-19 pandemic.
So what do you think? This is a bit different from the English translation.
So this is one of those bits where
idea?
actually you've added something that wasn't there.
You mean that we've not seen?
Or the compounded by.
So that's the combined impact.
Oh, I see what you've done. Okay, I get you.
So that part. So here it comes almost at the beginning of the sentence, but in the Chinese, the combined impact comes at the very end.
Okay.
So I have to do the first bit. So the changes on single century. So that's the first bit. I did that, and I was like trying to connect the two.
But the most neutral way of combine the two, you probably say coupled with the COVID-19 pandemic. I mean, okay, we know that it does actually compound it, makes it worse. Okay, exacerbated by, aggravated by. But if you just want to be a more neutral, this coupled with that's perhaps the best sort of most versatile solution to go with, shall we say?
Yeah. And this 世界百年未有之大变局 is a key phrase. you often hear that at the UN. I think you probably have heard it from the Chinese booth. It's like changes not seen in a century.
Not see. Is that right? That's something that they like to say, huh?
They like to say that a lot, and usually that's not
Right.
translated as unprecedented changes.
Oh,
Because
okay.
it's a
And
bit different. It's slightly different. It's not
yes,
really unprecedented. It says in the Chinese explicitly it's not seen in a
they
century.
talk about a century. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah. Well, if
100
that's what
years.
they're saying, and so just take note of that. Look, if that's what they're saying in the Chinese booth, then that's a pretty good guide to go by. That's a pretty good sort of yardstick to measure what you're saying by, I would say. So if they're saying that there, then you should probably say it.
Yeah, okay. Okay, next bit, I simplified it quite a bit.
People around the world are longing more than ever peace and development, justice and fairness, and the pursuit of cooperation and mutual benefit.
I removed quite a few of verbs in Chinese.
Uh-huh. Did you sort of skip because you were falling behind a bit, or was it quite
Also part of my coping strategies, because in
Mhm.
Chinese you don't really have all these nouns stringed together.
Mhm.
We add verbs and we try to do a kind of repetition with a difference. It's kind of like verbs with similar meanings, but the collocation is a bit different. I feel like in simultaneous, I tend to just combine, kind of collapse the verbs and just keep the nouns. I
Okay,
know
you
this
turn
is
the verbs
not
into the
this is not standard practice at the UN. I know for UN speeches you should try to get every single word as much as possible. But this is kind of
you
my
can, but
general
I mean,
coping
you know,
strategy.
again, it depends how fast he's speaking, isn't it? And then you have to decide.
Yeah,
You can try and get every word. Okay, you try, and then you fall so far behind, and you miss a whole sentence.
yeah.
So again, you have to know where to cut your losses. So that's the whole part of the skill of the profession, if you like.
Yes, and I did it
To
also
know.
because of the syntax. So in Chinese, it's you get the noun first, then verb here, then the adverb here. So the order is kind of the other way around in English. So if you try to find the verb, then you need to then add the noun, and you might miss the noun in the next segment. And I find that the nouns here are more important than the verbs. So I kind of just combine them. Yeah.
Okay. I was just going to give a couple of synonyms: long for peace and development. Is that what did you say? You said to long
Yeah,
for
I
as well?
yeah,
Okay.
I said
Crave, you can crave, yearn for. There's a good alternatives to long for. You said fair. So you said
I
what
said
did you say for
fairness.
equity and justice?
I said
Fairness.
fairness and justice. Yeah.
Equity is more of the sort of buzzword at the UN. That's one of their sort of it's kind of one of the mantra words, equity. Right. So and then pursuing win-win cooperation. I can't quite remember what you said.
I said mutual benefits.
Mutual. I was excellent. Okay, so mutually beneficial cooperation. I was going to say. So exactly. Yeah. If win-win doesn't come, that's a really good. Like, if you can come up with win-win in the moment, that's really good. I mean, that's like 2 syllables and you're done with it. But yeah, if it doesn't occur to you, then yeah, mutually beneficial cooperation.
Right. Okay, let's go on.
The pandemic is still raging in the world. Our society has been profoundly changed.
It's pretty much the same.
Again, you break up the 2 short sentences, right?
Yeah.
I was going to just say for profound changes, far-reaching changes as an alternative, as a good synonym.
Yeah.
The world has entered a new period of volatility.
So the official translation has turbulence and transformation. I just said the volatility.
I think that's nice. That's a nice word. Yeah, that's a nice solution.
Yeah, because in Chinese you often get these 4-character phrases, and that 4-character phrases are structured in a way that the first 2 characters and the last 2 characters kind of express the same idea, but in different ways.
No, I like that. The
So my
turbulence and transformation. That's good. Volatility, I think, does a great job there.
that's kind of like why I didn't really go too literal here. So the 4 characters does mean that turbulence and transformation, but yeah, I just combined it. Anything that you want to add?
No, that was it. That was it. No, just wanted to say the volatility. Excellent.
Okay.
Every responsible politician must show confidence, courage, and ownership to address the issues of our time and to make historic choices.
Right, my syntax follows the Chinese syntax, so it's the confidence, courage, and whatever that comes first. But here, it's reverted.
Okay.
Right.
I was just going to get just a couple of vocabulary points here. It falls on. I mean, I would usually say, so you want a couple of good alternatives here. Like, it is incumbent on. The onus is on each and every. Right. I sometimes say, and if I don't know if it starts with a noun, if it says every responsible statement, sometimes it is duty bound to answer the questions of our times. So remember those 3 alternatives, especially you'll hear it is incumbent on a lot. Statesman, politician, are they sort of interchangeable words, or?
I actually want to ask you, my general feeling is that in English, politicians can be good or bad. So it's kind of a neutral word.
Yeah.
Statesman is definitely someone who has made great contributions. Politicians.
Yeah, I mean, statesman is more positive. I would say statesman is more positive than politician.
Yeah, it's definitely more positive than politicians. Yeah.
But in Chinese, is it the same word? Is it?
So the Chinese here is 政治家. 政治家 is neutral, slightly more positive.
Okay, so maybe that's a good idea. Yeah, statesman. Yeah. Because to be honest, you see, politician in English, it carries certain connotations, shall we say?
Okay.
What other I was going to ask you? You said okay. So in the original it says a sense of mission. I noticed you went with ownership.
Ownership. Yeah.
Why did you say ownership?
Because the Chinese original is actually ownership. If we want to
is the same word that you use when you talk about, the national ownership of these projects by the populace, whatever, it's the same word.
Responsibility.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is the a sense of owner? Yeah. Okay, I was just wondering why you'd gone for that, but if that's the actual word that they used, then fair enough.
Yeah.
Again, it's an important concept. Again, UN ownership.
Yeah.
You want to be comfortable with being able to use that word properly. Yeah.
First, we must overcome the pandemic and win this critical battle that concerns our future.
It's more or less the same.
Because I noticed one other thing I was going to ask you. So generally, talk about, just say the pandemic. You don't tend to talk about COVID, and I'm just wondering, is that a deliberate thing? You're just more comfortable just saying the pandemic?
I said pandemic, right? So I'm definitely more comfortable with saying the pandemic. I feel like it's faster than saying COVID-19. The official translation uses COVID-19. The Chinese original actually says the pandemic. It's not a COVID-19, yeah.
Yeah, no. So one thing with that thing, I'm very flexible as to what I say. Sometimes I just say COVID, the pandemic. Everyone more knows what. Again, I've said this loads of times. What you're talking about.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I think you just say whatever's most comfortable with you. You can't really go wrong. I mean, with whatever you say, whatever suits you. So
Right.
So yeah, if you're more comfortable just saying the pandemic, I think you're fine just doing that. Okay.
The history of world civilization is also a history of the battle against pandemics.
Any comment on this?
The battle against, fighting. Fighting is probably better, but we talk about battling things, battling diseases, combating pandemics. I mean, fighting is probably the best of those.
Right.
We always make greater progress after overcoming challenges.
Well, the syntax is a bit different. So my version and the English translation have different syntax.
Yeah, overcoming challenges, right?
Yeah.
I see in the original rising to challenges, surmounting challenges.
Yeah.
Again, good synonyms.
This pandemic has dealt a great blow, but we will overcome it.
It has overcome it and prevail.
Right.
Yeah. Again, we have a 4-character phrase, which simply means that we are going to beat it.
Right. Oh yeah, beat it, defeat it.
Yeah.
That's a synonym. And I noticed so in the original I see it says may appear overwhelming. You talk about dealing a great blow.
Yeah.
Which is closer to the original, I mean, is
which is closer? I would say neither, because the original has the kind of like metaphor. Like the pandemic, it's almost like a monster. Yeah, but you can't say that in English. You have to get the sense, like what the speaker's actually talking about. So the official translation kind of generalized it to overwhelming, which I think is a good choice.
Right. I'm just trying to think if there's something in English that like it may seem the end of the world. Would that work? Or may seem like the end of the world, but humanity can overcome it and prevail. Would that work?
Maybe. Yeah. Seem the end of the world.
Seem like the end of the world.
Is that I don't know if that's too strong.
Okay.
As compared to the Chinese.
Well, it's up. I mean, anyway, that's just an idea for you. Anyway, that's something we might say when we're faced with something, just in everyday life that seems like insurmountable.
Right. I think that
insurmountable.
It's quite good. Yeah.
Do you like that? Insurmountable? Yeah, like that. There you go.
Yeah.
We need to uphold the principle of people first and life first to take care of everyone's life, value, and dignity.
Lives first. I think I missed out the S first time. Yeah. I'm actually not too sure about my word choice of to take care of everyone's life, value, and
I was going to say that actually.
It's a bit
like
weird.
Maybe something more straight,
weird.
like protect.
Yeah.
I think we talked about protecting. I was wondering whether to say anything about that myself, and the fact that you have raised it. Okay.
I just feel like in English it's a bit weird, even though in Chinese. So I think I was a bit too literal here. The Chinese is more like to take care of. The official translation went for care about.
Care about. I mean, I'm thinking in Russian. I think there's a word under similar circumstances they may have employed the same sort of like for like word in Russian as care about. Yeah, but even if they, I'm thinking in Russian, even if they were to say it, it would probably still be better to say just protect.
Yeah, I feel like protect is better. Yeah.
If there are any Russian speakers watching this who've got Russian and Chinese, I'm thinking they would say позаботиться, and even though that word does mean to care about, I kind of think it makes the word protect would simply fit better into the context.
Yeah.
It is
On you go.
important to promote a fact-based approach and use science to conduct routine and targeted pandemic prevention and management and emergency response. It is key to coordinate pandemic measures and socioeconomic development.
Oh, I played 2 sentences. I combined one actually.
Yeah, I noticed, right?
Yeah, so if we look at the English translation, we need to respect science, take a science-based approach, and follow the laws of science. I didn't do that because I feel like it's a bit too repetitive. And so for the first 2 parts in Chinese, 弘扬科学精神，秉持科学态度, I feel like it's the same thing. So
he does repeat. I mean, yeah, he says science 3 times.
Yeah,
I mean, in the official translation,
chose,
they give science 3 times.
Yeah. So I chose fact-based. I feel like it's more
fact-based is good.
used
Yeah, that's
English,
nice.
fact-based approach, not science-based approach, right?
Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's good. Fact-based,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's
and if nothing else, just because it's a bit weird to have the word science 3 times in the space of like 15 words or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I think another alternative is evidence-based.
Oh, evidence-based, yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's even better, actually.
Yeah.
Yep. Viewers, take note of that, evidence-based. That's really nice.
Yeah, because in Chinese, 科学 literally means science, but I don't think in English science has a broad meaning, that kind of a broad meaning as 科学 in Chinese. So there's like partial overlap between the two words.
I see.
But the connotation is still a bit different. Yeah. Because,
I like that a lot, evidence-based.
Science is more like a subject in English, but in Chinese, 科学 can be a kind of like principle approach. So it's more like fact-based or evidence-based.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I combined the 2 sentences. I just went on to do something. Yeah. I think this is more or less the same. I said routine targeted as well.
I mean, you did combine it, but I mean, I think you stayed. It seems to be pretty much the same as the official. Yeah.
I didn't go for protocols, but I think maybe that's a good one because I expanded it. I explained the Chinese. I said because 防控, just 2 characters in Chinese, means prevention and management. I spelled it out, but here it's just COVID-19 protocols.
I mean, that's that the word protocols is a good thing to have. I mean, that it's a very sort of bureaucratic word, it's good to know when to use it. Yeah.
I think that's at least a shorter word.
Yeah.
The international community should work together on pandemic control to minimize the spread of the virus.
Right.
Does he cut out the risk of cross-border? Does he
no.
redact that?
I didn't say cross-border because I think because we're talking about the international community, we're talking about like internationally. So I think that's implied. So I removed it, cross-border transmission, just to minimize the transmission.
Again, I can understand why you did it if you were behind. I think it would be preferable to have it, to be honest, because certainly during COVID, it was all about, closing, countries were very much closing their borders to minimize the spread. And so that was a big thing to prevent it from spreading, at least nominally, that's what they're saying, is to prevent it from spreading from one country to another. So I think ideally you would have said it.
Yeah, ideally, yeah.
Vaccines are a critical weapon against the pandemic.
Oh, I used vaccines. Here it's vaccination.
That's fine. That's fine.
That's fine. Yeah, because
that's not.
The word is the same in Chinese.
Yeah, right. Aha, it's the same word. Yeah, I mean that makes no difference as far as I can. So,
emphasized many times that vaccines should be a global public good. They should be accessible and affordable to developing countries.
Again, I broke it up into 2 sentences.
This sounded very good. I mean, this is. And the fact you broke it up, you seem to be getting all the words: accessibility, affordability.
A
global public good. These are all sort of.
That's the key word here, the buzzword here.
Yeah, exactly. So you were getting all of those.
Yeah, I feel like China often talks about it. Yeah, especially
the
General Assembly, like at GA meetings. If it's about development, then the representative will talk about. We need to make sure that vaccines are global public goods. Yeah.
The top priority is to achieve global vaccine equity.
So this is I kind of shortened it because global vaccine equity is a thing. So I was like kind of trying to make it more English sounding.
It sounds good. I mean, it sort of synthesizes it. Yeah, global vaccine equity. Yeah, it's definitely, as you say, a thing. Yeah, I mean, in terms of just listening to the English, an English native speaker wouldn't have, he'd have thought that to be a completely normal thing to say.
Yeah.
And I liked what you said. You said a top priority. That's a very important collocation. I think a priority is a word that is very important generally, and often in different languages there'll be different adjectives that are combined. Priorities, right? Yes, top priority. Remember that as an expression. It's very versatile. And of course, in English, if you can't think of the best adjective, the advantage with English, as it's quite an expressive language, is something in English you can say the priority now is to ensure be fair and equitable by emphasizing, but you can just emphasize the, and that basically carries the same strength as any adjective might. So remember that for English. Often in English, just the way you express something, you can use your voice to add meaning, and I'm not certain you can do that, for example, in Chinese. Can you?
Very occasionally, not as much as in English. I think intonation is really
intonation
important.
That's the word.
Yeah, it can save you lots of time when you are going into English.
Yeah, that's it.
China will strive to provide 2 billion doses of vaccines to the world.
Yeah, so this is actually the first part of this, and it's actually a full sentence. By the end of this year, it's not here. It's not in the original. Just FYI, that's why.
Okay, that's why you left it out, right?
Yeah, it's not in the original.
On top of donating $100 million to COVAX, China will donate 100 million doses of vaccines to developing countries by the end of this year.
Yeah, so here this 年内 here. 年内, I translate it as by the end of this year. The official translation is in the course of this year. I think it means the same thing, basically.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And you said, just a couple of very stylistic things. I mean, you can just say 100 million US if you're, if you want to just get rid of a word here, or you can say $100 million or 100 million US, just to get rid of a couple of syllables if you're falling behind. COVAX, just tell everyone what COVAX is.
Is the COVID-19 vaccine implementation program?
Yeah, it's I mean, it's one of those acronyms, isn't it, that you hear, that you use, that you interpret, but you never
don't
actually
know the full names. You
don't need to know. Okay, here we go. COVAX is co-led by the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, Gavi, and the World Health Organization, alongside key delivery partner UNICEF. Worldwide initiative aimed at equitable access to COVID-19 vaccines. So it stands for, COVID, okay, directed by the Gavi Vaccine Alliance, the coalition, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so there you go. That's COVAX. But I'm sure, it's one of those things that you'll hear when they talk about the COVID. That's one of the main acronyms that you'll be hearing. But just at least be aware, if it's the first time, if you've never come across it before, which I'm sure if you're an interpreter, I'm sure you probably have. But anyway, it's a thing, and you can just it's called COVAX.
China will continue to support and take part in the scientific tracing of the origin of the virus. We stand firmly against any forms of political manipulation.
Right. Again, I have two sentences.
Mm-hmm.
I think science-based or evidence-based origins tracing.
That's interesting. Yeah. Again, they say science-based, evidence-based, right?
It's all about 科学 science.
One thing I was just going to say, you said manipulation, which I thought was a good word. What's the word in Chinese that they sort of render as maneuvering?
操弄.
And is manipulation the sort of?
I feel like manipulation is actually closer.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want a couple of words like chicanery. Is that something you might hear coming from English? It's like a synonym of manipulation.
Right.
So manipulation, maneuvering, chicanery. Have you ever heard of that? Do you know that word?
Yeah,
Have you heard
it? It's really, really negative.
Yes,
right.
Yes, yeah. Even if you don't use it yourself, at least be aware that you might hear it coming from English and that you might have to put it into the Chinese.
Yeah. It's a very loaded word.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Second, we must achieve economic recovery for more robust, green, and healthy global development.
Right. One interesting thing here is that healthy global development, because in Chinese, literally, it means healthy, but here it's more balanced global development. I actually prefer the official translation. I feel like healthy. So it's
what balance. Okay, because I was going to say, I was looking at more balance. I was thinking, okay, you said healthy. Again, I'm thinking in Russian what the word might have been, and I was thinking, that's the sort of thing I'll see like robust in, and then I realized, hang on, he's already said
that is
robust. So, and that's a big UN word these days.
Yes.
Robust development, robust. We must take more robust action. So that's very much a word to be aware of. And also, to revitalize the economy. So you want to have some synonyms for this, okay? For revitalizing, because often they'll talk about the economic recovery. Okay.
That's what I said.
Now, the only problem, right? Now the only problem with recover is that you can help the economy to recover, but you can't really use it as a transitive verb. You can't recover the economy.
Right.
That wouldn't sound right in English. Okay. And so another synonym here is a good one here is, well, you can revive. You can revive the economy, but again, you can't. You can revive the economy. You can revitalize the economy, but you can't help the economy revitalize. You can't help the economy revive. Again, that sounds slightly wonky English. Rebuild, on the other hand, you can rebuild the economy and you can help the economy rebuild. Or you can help the country rebuild. You can rebuild the country and you can help the country to rebuild. And so rebuild is a very good versatile verb because you can use it both as a transitive and an intransitive verb.
Development is key to people's happiness.
I think it's the key. I think I need the article there. Do you think so? Development is the key to people's happiness.
Oh, you didn't say the.
I
You
didn't
can say either or. You can say either. It's
okay.
key to. No, I think you don't need the theoretically.
Right.
You said people's. One thing I was going to say here is you said the development. Oh, you okay with hold? What did you say? Development holds or just development?
No,
is. Oh, okay. Okay, development is key to people's. You said happiness, right?
Because the original, so the Chinese original is actually happiness. Oh, or it can be like it depends on your interpretation. Yeah.
Because I mean, well-being I think sounds a bit better.
Yeah, maybe
generally as a political,
as well-being. Yeah.
It sounds more It sounds a more political thing to say.
Yeah.
People's well-being.
Yeah.
I think it comes up again a bit later, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Go on.
In face of the severe impact of the pandemic, we need to bring global development to a new level that is balanced, coordinated, and inclusive.
I didn't say steer toward. I just I just went for bring it to a new level.
Is the translation very close, very faithful to the original? Is it the steering?
Not really. It's not really in the original.
Oh, okay.
We need to work together to 推动 is like to push.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, in English, what you said is to bring it to take it to a new level.
Yeah.
That's all good. I mean, in English, that's fine.
Here, I would like to propose the Global Development Initiative.
Trick myself here. Yeah. Or the, to propose or the Global Development Initiative. I went for the because it's kind of a proper noun. It's like the title of this thing.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't worry. I mean, under these circumstances, I wouldn't worry too much about that. I was just going to say that obviously in the original, say to this end, I would like to propose a global development initiative. And again, if I'm really pushed, what you just said, you said here, that's also a very good, very quick solution, which basically says the same as to this end. I mean, so you don't always feel you have to say with that end in mind, to that end. Along those lines, I mean, if you're just in a hurry to say here, it works. Yeah.
Right. So the Global Development Initiative is a buzzword.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you looked it up?
I feel like a lot of like Chinese representatives at the UN will talk about the Global Development Initiative. Yeah. So it's something that you have to know.
Okay.
Development must be prioritized. We must put development.
Let's stop here. So in Chinese, or you can see for the English translation, the bold part, it's not a full sentence because in Chinese there's no subject. I try to make sure that every sentence has a subject. Yeah, so the word order is slightly
makes it easier to follow that way.
Yeah, I feel
see
like
what you're doing.
it's easier also for other booths.
Yeah, I mean, like this, if it's written on a text, it's like easy enough to follow because it's like in bold and it's there. But no, you're right. But when you're interpreting it, it's not as easy to get that. You might not. I think it's good what you do just to give a full sentence so that everyone knows exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
We must put development at a prominent position in the global macro policy framework. Major economies should.
Okay, I cut it here. So just the framework.
Oh, the framework, the global macro policy framework, right?
Does that sound all right?
Agenda sounds better. The
Better.
policy agenda,
Yeah,
Frank,
yeah.
you could. I mean, is it the same word? Is it?
So in Chinese, it's framework. So people talk about framework a lot, but I do think that not every time that when the Chinese says framework, you need to say framework in English.
Right. Okay. So it's a bit like in French cadre. It's not, but I mean, you would never get stopped. I mean, for it to say framework in that under those circumstances seems a perfectly reasonable thing to do. Yeah, maybe agenda does sound a little bit better.
Yeah, I feel like it does. Yeah.
I wouldn't worry about it overly.
We must put development at a prominent position in the global macro policy framework. Major economies should coordinate their policies to ensure continuity, stability, and sustainability.
Again,
I was just going to ask you about your use of stability instead of consistency.
I actually want to ask whoever translated it, why consistency? Because the original is stability.
Is it stability? Oh, in that case,
Yeah.
So I thought it was
Yeah.
Because I thought it was a bit of a leap if the original word was consistency and you'd given it stability. I mean, I know that I got a feeling that the Chinese are real sticklers for words and that every word that they use is used for a reason. And I was going to say, if they say consistency, you probably just want to say consistency. But if the word he actually used was stability, then that's
it's
fine.
actually stability. So I think consistency is kind of maybe the policy interpretation that it actually means consistency in English. Maybe the Ministry of Foreign Affairs prefer consistency. Yeah.
Global development partnerships should be more equal and balanced. Multilateral development partnerships should be strengthened for synergy.
Right here, I use a lot of like passive constructions to make sure that I get full sentences. Because if you look at the Chinese, you'll see comma, 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 and full stop. So basically, the whole paragraph only has, so apart from the first bullet point, only has one sentence, and that's basically not possible to do in English.
Yeah.
It's not going to be clear, and
the first verb you're saying, so they're basically saying we need to foster global development.
There is no
synergy.
we. There is no we. There is no subject in this sentence.
Right.
So you only get verb, then maybe nouns or a sentence. Usually noun. Verb, noun, verb, noun, verb, noun, verb, noun. Yeah. So my strategy is to use either we must, we need to, or it is
weeing. You're weeing.
Yeah, so I try not to do a lot of weeing. So it is important to, or use passive construction.
Yes, exactly. Well, yeah. The thing is, it's easier. It is easy to put what you said. It's important to. I often say there is a need to. There is a need to. There is a need to. Because if you use the passive, then you kind of have to remember. You have to hold that verb in your head for a little bit, and then once you forget the verb. So the safer bet is to just say there is a need to, or it is important to. But again, that's how I will usually do it.
Sometimes in Chinese, the passive construction can actually work to our advantage because the noun verb structure is actually part of the verb or the kind of the preposition that goes with the verb. So the preposition, and you get the noun, and then you get the verb. So the verb sometimes it comes at the end.
So it follows the okay. So if it follows the sequence, sometimes then
yeah. Sometimes passive construction is actually safer because you can say the noun first and then the verb.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The verb comes at the end. Anyways.
Right.
Right.
And I was going to say also one thing. So I noticed that UN 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, that you dropped the for sustainable
Yes.
development.
Yeah,
And I was
I
going to say
noticed.
that seems a pretty reasonable approach, because everyone in that room should know what Agenda 2030 or the 2030 agenda is. I think, yeah, you can almost take it for granted that, we know it's for sustainable development. Maybe it's a little bit nice if you can get it in, it's maybe a little bit better, but no one's ever going to stop you just for dropping it, because everyone knows what Agenda 2030 is.
Yeah.
That's one of those intuitive things. Sometimes
yeah.
you need a lot of intuition. Sometimes you need intuition sometimes to be able to say to yourself, look, everyone knows what this thing is, so I'm just going to take a conscious decision just to drop it and follow your intuition.
Yeah.
We need to accelerate Agenda 2030.
Yeah, so that's the part that you were talking about. Yeah.
People must be put front and center.
Again, this is passive construction, just to get the.
I like that.
Yeah.
People must be put front and center. That's very nice in English.
Yeah.
I might even start using that myself. I don't think I've ever used it, but I like that. People must be put front and center.
I've heard that a lot from the Chinese booth. Yeah, so
Is that so?
Stole this phrase.
Okay.
Yeah, from those UN.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
When developing, it is important to safeguard and improve the living standards, promote and protect human rights.
Right. When developing, it's very weird. I just said it.
A little bit.
Yeah, in Chinese. So the start of the sentence is actually 在发展中, which means when developing or in development. In development is also very weird. In development of what?
When developing, because developing is a bit unclear. Because when you talk about development, okay, you understand what development is as a concept. When you just say when developing, it's like when developing what?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the official translation puts it at the end. Yeah, we should do ABCD through development. Yeah, and the word choice is through. Yeah.
One thing I was going to ask you about, so I noticed you said living standards and the official says livelihoods.
Yes.
To me, no, they're not quite the same thing.
Yes. Yeah. I think in one of the previous episodes, I said livelihoods, and you told me that it's actually better to say like to improve standards of living. You don't say to improve livelihoods.
No, I mean livelihoods. For me, is how a person earns his money. My livelihood is fun. Yeah. There's a.
So
I mean, we talk about raising people's standard of living and improving people's standard of living. Livelihood is more that a person's kind of to do with a person's job.
Yeah, I think here is again, there's one Chinese word that can mean the standards of living or livelihood. It depends on the context. So it's kind of a split here. Yeah.
Oh, it can mean either or.
Yes.
Okay. That's interesting. So I would probably hedge more towards the standard of living standards, whatever.
Development must be for the people, by the people, and the benefit should be shared by the people.
It's almost the same. Yeah, is it?
Yeah, the benefits, the fruits. I mean, they're good synonyms to have. Yeah.
Fruits.
To increase people's sense of happiness, achievement, and security for holistic development.
Okay, I actually, I didn't really break the sentence. So like development should be for the people, by the people, and the benefit should be shared by the people to increase people's sense of whatever. Yeah.
Again, I noticed you went here with happiness as opposed. So,
but here it's happiness, sense of.
Did you say happiness?
I said happiness as well. So I said happiness for 幸福. So
is it the same word as before?
Yes, it's the same word. It's the same word. Yeah.
Because I'm thinking here, maybe sense of well-being, a greater sense of, again, happiness. To me, it's a bit lower register. It's what sort of what kids might talk about, whereas at a more political level, I get the impression it would be like well-being, a greater sense of well-being.
Yeah, yeah, again, I think it's another case where the Chinese word is the same for
The
happiness and
same, okay.
well-being. Yeah,
I wouldn't, if it's the same, I mean, obviously they're very similar, they're virtually identical. It's just the sort of registers different.
yeah,
I would, if you've got that sort of choice, I think then usually you want to go for the higher register
yeah.
alternative.
Right, right. Because for well-being, if it's English into Chinese, we usually don't say 幸福, we say
Hmm.
福祉, which is a noun. It's not yeah, it's a noun, and it's a bit different from 幸福. Anyway,
Okay.
yeah, I quite agree with you that sometimes when we see 幸福 or hear 幸福 in Chinese, we should also consider the option of well-being, not just happiness, because
Right.
happiness is almost the default option every time.
Right. Anyway, that's only you as a Chinese native speaker can. I'm just so as an English native speaker, you would certainly more talk about, as I say, well-being,
Yeah,
as opposed to happiness.
right.
And that was a greater sense of benefit. So I don't know if in English we talk about greater sense of benefit.
I
Maybe
don't
we
think I
would.
said that.
Didn't, right?
Yeah, I didn't say that. Yeah, did I say achievement? Probably achievement
Achievement.
or accomplishment.
See, that sounds a bit better. I don't know with me. So benefit. Whenever I hear benefit, at least in British English, there's the connotation of sort of welfare benefits. You
Yeah,
know, that if
exactly.
work, benefits, and I don't know if someone might get slightly confused, but what you said there, greater sense of achievement. Yeah, that sounds a bit better. I mean, so you
Yeah,
can talk about the benefits of doing this, that, and the other.
yeah,
Will we benefit from doing this? But like
yeah,
to get
exactly.
to use in this sense, I don't know. There's almost some sort of connotation of this idea of benefits, as in
Yeah, yeah,
handouts.
yeah.
And then you talked about achieve well. You said holistic development, right?
Yeah, I picked holistic.
Ah, that's very UN-ish. That's very UNese, holistic.
Right.
I'm not saying it's bad. I mean, to achieve holistic development. I'd actually say it's almost better than well-rounded. Yeah, holistic. They love using that word at the UN.
Right. One more thing. This
Comprehensive is
yeah,
perhaps sometimes
a
we will
comprehensive.
like that is my sort of go-to word for that notion,
Mm,
comprehensive guarantees, comprehensive development, whatever.
right.
But yeah, holistics.
Yeah. Oh, I just want to add one more thing.
Hmm.
So the triplets here, 幸福感, 获得感, 安全感, they often come up together. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So
This
which
one
for
was
what's for that's for what?
so that's the so this
Happiness, benefit, and security.
yeah, they
Oh,
often
is
come up
that right?
together.
They're often the Chinese delegation will
Yes, yes, often say
Oh,
that.
I
It's kind of a
see.
triplet. Yeah.
And will the Chinese booth usually render it like that?
Not too sure about benefit though. Probably not
Okay,
benefit. Yeah, I think it's either achievement or accomplishment. Yeah.
right. Yeah. I mean, I would. My advice is maybe something maybe would default to what the Chinese booth says in certain scenarios, because if that's something that the Chinese are saying a lot, the Chinese delegation maybe has wording that they want to hear, ultimately they are probably
Yeah.
going to be your main client as opposed to the rest. That's how it is with the Russian booth. I tend to tailor what I say to keep the Russian minion happy. More so than to ensure the listening pleasure of the rest of the audience. It shouldn't be that way, but that's just how it is sometimes. So.
It is important to be inclusive. The special
Right. 坚持普惠包容.
Aha.
Yeah, I just say it's important to be inclusive. Let's see. So
Yeah, I had a little note for this as well, because here's our word benefits again. It's particularly in this context, committed to benefits for all. Actually, this is more so than in the previous use of the word benefit in the previous sentence, because here it's a commit to benefits rule definitely could carry this connotation of everyone should be receiving handouts.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
but
why I thought the official I thought was sounded a bit strange. So, and you went for inclusive.
yeah, because the Chinese original 普惠包容 means to be inclusive. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, right. Again, that's one of those buzzword generally, inclusivity.
The special needs of developing countries need to be taken care of.
Well, two needs should be taken care of. Yeah.
Should be addressed.
Yeah, should be addressed. Yeah. Yeah. Here, I actually prefer the passive construction. In the original, there is no subject, so you don't know who's doing that.
Okay.
And because China considers itself a developing country, I feel like the
Right.
developed world. Yeah.
That's the
should-
danger of the we. That
Yeah.
is the danger of the we sometimes, is that who is the we exactly?
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying. If China considers itself a developing country and they say that we should take care about the special needs of developing countries, that suggests that we, as in China, should take care of the developing countries who are not us. So that could lead to I see how that could create a little bit of confusion.
Right.
Debt relief and development aid should be used to support developing countries, especially those vulnerable ones.
Right. I left out facing exceptional difficulties.
Oh, I was just going to say, so just go take you back to the we should care about. Again, you can say, there's a need to address the special needs of developing countries, would keep it very neutral.
Yeah.
Okay, so he didn't say facing exceptional difficulties, eh?
Oh, no. So in the original, he did say it, but I left it out. Yeah. Facing
Okay, he was picking up
vulnerable
speed
ones.
here, was he?
Mm,
I was going to say just here a couple of these expressions. So debt suspension. Did you say suspension?
I said debt relief.
Debt relief. You see, that's very good. You see, that's the thing I would tend to go for. Okay, relief would be my usual go-to word. I've probably heard of debt suspension, but yeah, remember debt relief. That is very much the in phrase. And development aid, I would say that you tend to talk about more development assistance. Okay. So you know what ODA is?
Yeah.
Official development assistance. It tends to be.
I thought it's aid. I thought it's official development
well,
aid.
It's not the end of the world. I mean, we tend to have development assistance,
Right.
or in UK we talk about foreign aid.
Right.
Those are the sort of two collocations of development assistance, as in ODA, or foreign, like the UK's foreign aid budget. Again, it's not a big deal, but just remember ODA, and that's the easiest way how to remember the sort of collocation, official development assistance.
So as to address the issue of imbalance and inadequate development between countries and within one country.
I just said imbalance. I was like, oh, okay, that's
imbalanced,
yeah.
Unbalanced, imbalanced.
Yeah,
I think you could say
unbalanced,
either or. Unbalanced, imbalanced. I think you can say either, actually. There's an imbalance between.
Listeners will understand. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And inadequate development among and within countries. I mean, I guess that's something they talk about a lot. That's the way actually the official translation does it quite snappily. Among and within countries, you will immediately, that immediately gets the message across.
We must remain innovation driven. We need to seize the historic opportunities brought by the new round of technological revolution and industrial change.
Industrial transformation is perhaps slightly more than the original, the better choice of
nicer.
word.
Yeah.
We need to turn
Why don't you go to the end of that sentence? Yeah.
Right.
technological advancement into productivity.
Yeah. So I broke it up. Mine is more literal, like to turn the technological, I said advancement, into productivity. That's what the Chinese actually. I mean,
okay. Or
the
to
literal
convert, you can
meaning.
convert achievements into productivity, right? As a synonym.
Yeah. And this is to harness technological achievements to boost productivity.
That's a very good word, by the way, to
Yeah.
harness, these technologies to bolster productivity, to enhance is always a good word as in that respect.
And create an open, fair, just, non-discriminatory environment for technological development.
There's equitable here. I went for just.
Okay. Are the words the same?
公平公正. Just can be 公正. So what's written here? Equitable. So the word for equitable is usually 公平, which is translated as fair here. So I went for fair and just. They went for fair and equitable.
Okay. I mean, they're pretty interchangeable. There's fair and just are often words that are sort of basically the same meaning, but just as a higher register.
Yeah.
What else was I going to say here? Okay, just play to the end of the paragraph.
It is important to find new drivers of economy for post-pandemic recovery.
Right. This part, I didn't say like jointly achieve leapfrog development at all.
Leap, right.
Yeah, because I was a bit confused as to what 跨越发展, what the Chinese original actually means. So my interpretation is that the last bit of the Chinese means that we need to jointly achieve economic recovery or economic development, or maybe rapid or robust, maybe not rapid, robust economic development.
Robust, that's very nice. Yeah, robust economic development would be very good. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know if leapfrog is like one step further from
leapfrog. I mean, we wouldn't say it like that really in English. It wouldn't. Yeah. It doesn't sound right. Leapfrog development, right?
Yeah.
I think you.
Yeah, leapfrog is more for like investment. I don't know, VC, venture capital.
Okay.
Maybe I don't know, investment sector.
Accelerated. Yeah. We need to jointly achieve fast track development.
Yeah, maybe fast track. Yeah.
If you really want to get that sense across. I was going to ask, so foster, he uses the word foster a couple of times.
Yeah.
Is it the same word that he uses both for fostering an open environment, fostering growth drivers?
So the official translation uses foster
twice, yeah.
Times. So there's no one-to-one translation for foster in Chinese.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I was just wondering, is it the same word when they talk about so in confidence building, is it the same word? I'm not thinking Spanish here. Okay, you have fomentar la confianza, that's confidence. Fomento de la confianza is foster, confidence building, and also fomentar I will often render as foster. I was just wondering if it was the same.
No, it's not the same. So I think here I said we should find.
Okay.
The Chinese is kind of, it's metaphorical. It means to dig out, to discover, to dig out. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know why the word choice is foster here. I actually find it a bit weird. How do you foster drivers?
I mean, it sounds a sort of thing that they'd probably say. Leverage new growth drivers. That's another word they use a lot, leveraging things.
Right. Yeah, but 挖掘 here literally to dig. My interpretation is to find, to discover, to find new drivers.
To tap.
Yeah, to tap. Yeah, right. Yeah. And so the first foster here, The Chinese is to 打造 to create, to build.
No, that okay. Foster environment, right. Forge an environment,
Yeah.
foster. Those are good to remember as synonyms. Foster and forge, because of the FO in English. So I often think of foster and forge as two good alternatives that generally are pretty interchangeable.
Yeah. Okay.
Fostering cooperation, forging cooperation.
Man and nature should coexist in harmony. We need to improve global environmental governance, tackle climate change, and create a community of life for man and nature.
Right. A community of life for man and nature. That's the set phrase.
Is that right? And that's what
Yeah.
they'll say a lot, will they? Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you say man. I don't know if in this brave new world today that some people might object to that. I think probably if I was to say it as a man, I'm wondering if I would be sort of have the finger pointed at me.
Yeah, I feel like I can say man because I'm not.
You can get away with it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
You're not a white middle-aged man, so you can get away with.
Yeah, I can get away with that. Yeah, exactly.
But the thing is, in English, that you can't say a harmony between human and nature. That would sound stupid. Between mankind and nature, between humankind and nature. Yeah, I mean, if that's what they're saying in the Chinese booth, then I think you just go with it.
Yeah, you just need to remember this phrase, this 人与自然生命共同体, which is community of life for man and nature.
Right. If that is the thing, if that's what the Chinese want to hear, if that's what the delegation wants to hear, that's where one of those situations where that trumps any other considerations. So just go with that then.
Yeah.
It is important to accelerate green and low carbon transition to achieve green recovery.
I think the translation is it's definitely longer. I'm not, but the gist is there, I think.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay.
China will strive for carbon peak by 2030 and carbon neutrality by 2060.
Yeah, I definitely shortened it because I'm very used to saying carbon peak by 2030 and carbon neutrality by 2060. Yeah, so just didn't.
Is that something they say a lot? Well, if that's, I mean,
they say a lot.
I mean, if that's like again, that's the specific wording they use. Carbon peak.
Yeah.
Okay, because actually sounds better than we'll strive to peak carbon dioxide emissions before 2030. Sounds almost as they're making a real major effort. We're going to get that record. I'm going to get that record before 2030. The way it's conveyed in the official translation, whereas I don't know whereas the way you put it, it sounds more non. I mean, we want to, we're going to peak in 2030 and then go down. But I mean, again, if that's sort of set phraseology that the Chinese are using, then stick with that.
This requires hard work, but we will do our best.
Well, mine is very simple. I didn't act tremendous.
Right.
艰苦努力, I think hard work already conveys that, but if you want to add more emphasis, then tremendous hard work.
Right.
Yeah.
This will be a huge challenge, maybe you would say in English, really, to get that. Yeah.
Huge challenge.
A daunting challenge. Maybe this is a bit a daunting challenge. That's a very good word thing in English.
Yeah. I think this one's nice. Make every effort to meet.
We'll do our utmost. We'll make every effort.
Yeah.
We will. We'll go the extra mile.
Yeah.
China will greatly support green and low carbon development in developing countries. We will no longer build new coal-fired power plants overseas.
I like how you said coal-fired power. I mean, they use it in the official as well, but
Yeah.
that's really the technical name for them.
Yes.
Often in the foreign language, the way it's expressed will have a different syntax. And that if you're not quite as familiar with talking about the subject, you'll tend to follow that syntax of the source language. But it's good to know that in English, that's how we describe those power plants that use coal to power them. We call them coal-fired power plants, coal-fired power plants. So try and remember it as a package like that.
Yeah.
Especially as China has so many of them right at home. Huh? That's where their main source, right, of coal-fired plants.
Yeah, and so this policy is actually something quite big, and I feel like a lot of like Chinese representatives at UN will kind of name drop some initiatives
Okay,
that China is undertaking. This is this is a big thing, yeah. Not supporting, not building any coal-fired power plants. Yeah, abroad.
Okay, abroad, right.
Yeah.
But we'll still build masses at home, right?
Maybe.
It is important to be action-driven. We need...
Right. I just said action-driven, which is the more of a literal translation here.
Okay.
Results-oriented actions. I guess because for the translation, it's always staying committed to something. So you need to have a plan.
Yes, right. So they need to be okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they talk about our work needs to be results oriented. I mean, I guess they did the translation later, or I mean, the guy had to, whoever the translator was thinking of the best way of expressing it in English, and that is quite a typical thing to say in English. You know, at that level, results oriented. Our work needs to be results oriented.
Yeah.
We need to increase investment in development resources. We need to focus on poverty alleviation, food security, pandemic and vaccines, development finance, climate change and green development, industrialization, digital economy, and connectivity. We will work with other partners on these aspects.
So here, because of the word order, you might think that I added something at the end, right? So in Chinese, you get this long list first, before you get 合作, so cooperation or work together with other partners. You have to go with the list first. There's no way that you can predict. Yeah. But for the translation here, you can see, it's cooperation first, cooperation on these. Right? I can't do that. I have to go with the subject matters or the fields first.
And then adjust it as you go along as the
then you
sentence.
need to add something. Because it's not clear whether China is doing it alone or China is like working with other partners. Because the first verb 推进 is just to promote or to work on these areas. You don't know whether China is going to
and then then you add the cooperation at the end. You tag it on at the end, right, to give it more context. I was just going to say, one thing I was going to say here is, I noticed it increase input in development. You said increase investment.
Chinese is,
I mean, is that the case where it's the same word and then it just depends?
投入 can mean investment or input. Investment.
I see. So that's what I figured.
Investment is not just about money, right? It's usually about money, but it can be other resources as well.
Generally, it's about. I mean, I think investment is better here than input, definitely.
Okay.
That was was there anything else I was going to say here? Here again, Agenda 2030. Again, you could just drop the for sustainable development. I don't think you need that again.
And accelerate Agenda 2030 to create a community of shared future for mankind.
Yeah. Community of shared future for mankind. Sometimes I do say human.
Right.
I say humankind for. I can't remember. For human beings, I probably say that instead of mankind.
For human beings, I see that doesn't sound very
That
nice.
doesn't sound very
That
nice.
doesn't.
It's okay.
Shared future for mankind, I think is better.
Yeah.
If you're going to go down that path, or humankind, but not for human. I mean, I know I know in Spanish they often talk about the in Spanish they often talk about el ser humano, the human being, which literally means the human being,
Yeah.
and it just sounds ugly in English, to be honest,
Okay.
with people
Okay.
at the center, with
Okay.
yeah. So I wouldn't say a human being. Save that for like when you're working in a hospital or something, or in a medical
Okay, I'll stick to
presentation.
mankind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, so 命运共同体. Yeah. A shared future for mankind. I think they omit it for mankind, but usually
Oh wait, okay.
the official translations. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay, I'll continue.
China has pledged
Humanity.
an additional
Right.
$3 billion in international aid in the next 3 years to support developing countries in pandemic control and economic recovery.
Yeah, international assistance.
Assistance aid. It's like, I think, you're okay with either. I mean, this is like what I was saying, we talk about development assistance, but foreign aid.
Yeah.
Assistance, I think, is generally the better one, but as I said, there's not the end of the world if you say aid. The one thing I was going to say in response, you're talking about controlling COVID-19. So a collocation that I like to use a lot with COVID is called a pandemic, whatever. It's containing it, to contain the pandemic.
Right. I actually use it as a noun, like pandemic control.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pandemic containment.
Containment measures, yeah. That's actually it. So
yep, that's it. That's it.
We've come end of my recording. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was very good, actually. That was very good. Guys, if you have enjoyed the episode, remember, as usual, to smash the thumbs up button, to like and share with your pals. Zoe, any comments from you as we finish?
Well, I guess the same thing. Yeah. 点赞、关注、转发. Yeah, that's whatever you said in Chinese.
That's like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I was just going to say that from the in the actual text, is there anything sort of new, anything you would highlight, anything in particular that you have learned?
For this kind of text, you often get long sentences without a subject. So the important thing is to know how to deal with those sentences without keep saying we should, we must, we have to.
Without weing.
Yeah, without weing, basically. Yeah, and you need to vary your approaches. Yeah, and
like as my sort of go-to tends to be there is a need to that.
Yeah, or it is important to, or you put it into passive.
It's important to.
Yeah. So those are alternatives to weeing. Yeah.
Exactly. So like I say, give that a shot, try at home, and watch the episode, and then as I say, once he delivers, it'll be interesting to see what he says next month. Then in the 2022 version, as I say, I suspect it will be slightly different, and we can do an episode on that one, can't we, Zoe? Once it comes out.
Exactly. Yeah.
There'll be a few more fireworks, maybe.
Maybe we'll see if that's more colorful. Yeah.
Although they're all, I mean, I noticed the Chinese diplomats statesman. It doesn't matter if it's like high tension, low tension. It's always just play it straight. Poker face, poker face, poker face. All right. Well, Zoe, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you, Roland, for your invitation.
You're welcome. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show. Like I say, like, share, subscribe, or as they say in Chinese, what was it he said?
点赞、关注、转发。
Exactly. Find all the links in the description box down below, and we will see you again soon, which means that all I have to say is that episode 139 of the Interpretation Station stands adjourned.